Team Mikey Garcia says Manny Pacquiao is the only fight that they want at welterweight. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to Patreon. You don't want to miss anything. I will be shifting some of the content over to Patreon and the YouTube channel member side of things. So for YouTube channel member, just hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and the Patreon link is in the description in the affiliate section. So shout out to the sponsors, more from that later. Now, Robert Garcia, trainer and brother of Mikey Garcia, he recently did an interview, and I want to go over his quote. He said some interesting things. This is what Robert Garcia says, quote, "Well, look, being Mikey's brother and trainer, you know, with my dad and my son, we all agree that Manny Pacquiao, that's the only fight that we really want Mikey to do at welterweight. You know, he wants to have another welterweight fight and he wants to get a title. I think Manny Pacquiao is the biggest fight out there for Mikey, but it's also the one that matches better for Mikey because Pacquiao is not as big as the other welterweights. Pacquiao was a flyweight at one time. Even though his body has developed into a solid welterweight, he's still not that big. He's not as tall. Very dangerous, very fast, very strong. But that's probably the only fight that we're okay with at welterweight. Even though I still think it's a very dangerous fight, I think that's the only one that we could probably agree to with my father and everybody on our team. That's the only one that we would all want for Mikey at welterweight." Freddie Roach also said he likes to fight and is very good. Now, I gotta be honest, real big fan of Mikey Garcia, you know, and his family. Robert Garcia, two-time champion, great trainer. I really like what Robert Garcia did with Maidana, gave him a jab, and, you know, just improved Maidana. Maidana was more of a force under the tutelage of Robert Garcia and his family, you know, RGBA gym. But I don't like this from Mikey Garcia's team, and I don't like what it kind of represents. They're basically saying that Mikey is defiant and wants to stay at welterweight, but they only want Pacquiao because he's the guy who, you know, started off at noodle weight or whatever weight he started at way back when. And it doesn't, to me, it don't really look good. It don't look good. First of all, Mikey Garcia was the person who, he already defied the odds in fighting Errol Spence Jr. Nobody was thinking of Mikey at welterweight. He had done great work at 135. He unified with Robert Easter. He knocked out then champion Dejan Zlaticanin. And Dejan Zlaticanin, that was a great win because that was only Mikey's second fight off of the long layoff where he was inactive because of the top rank legal stuff. So he took a tune-up fight with Elias Rojas, and then he came back and destroyed a puncher who had beaten Ricky Burns and Dejan Zlaticanin. And I was at that fight. I covered that fight for you guys on the channel. It was on the Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz rematch card. It was in Vegas. I remember it well. Because when Mikey knocked out Dejan Zlaticanin, the whole arena erupted. It was a crazy knockout, you know, one of the best knockouts that particular year. Then he went on, like I said, to unify with Robert Easter. So that was a very good performance. I was also at that fight. You know, that was a great card, great energy in the Staples Center, and Mikey looked real well in that fight. And then out of nowhere, off of that performance, he started feeling himself. He had already fought Sergey Lipinets at somewhere in there too, at 140. Out of nowhere, doing all this great stuff, beating Broner at 140, beating Lipinets 140, unifying with Robert Easter, all these things. He out of nowhere says he wants to move up again and fight Errol Spence. And I told you guys on my channel, I thought that wasn't a good idea. I think Errol Spence was too good, too skilled, too big, too strong, too everything. And that wasn't a knock at Mikey Garcia, but I'm a realist, so I believe in living within your means, you know, in all facets of life. You know, some people try to get 15-inch speakers and put it in the trunk and stuff, but you're about to get evicted. That don't make sense to me. So you got to always make it make sense. And I thought Mikey Garcia, the real fight I wanted for him at the time was Lomachenko. I think that would have been the best fight at 135. Great fight. evenly matched stylistically fun, and he didn't think he can get it, so he decided to fight and pick a fight with Errol Spence. Errol Spence, trust me, I had interviewed him, and he wasn't even checking for Mikey. And I don't think most people in the world thought Mikey was really too serious about the call out, but then he kept calling out Errol Spence. And like Jay-Z said, don't bark up that tree will fall on you. I don't know why your advisors ain't forewarn you. Don't bark up that tree will fall on you. And that's what happened. That tree fell on him. Another fight I covered, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, and it just was a massacre. Errol Spence, I gave him every single round. He almost stopped Mikey Garcia in the 9th round. And fast forward to present day, now you have his brother and trainer, Robert Garcia, doing the interview, and he's saying that basically no one in the family really wants Mikey Garcia at welterweight, which is what I've said, right? And Mikey's stubbornly clinging to the idea of winning a title at welterweight, which, it's his career. But then he's also, or his team, I guess you could say, not necessarily Mikey, but his team, which is an extension and representation of him, they're saying conveniently the smallest guy who has a title that represents probably the largest cash grab in money in Pacquiao is the only fight that they'll want. I don't really like what that represents, because Mikey, he fought Jesse Vargas, and now off of losing Errol Spence and beating Jesse Vargas in a fight that was a lot tougher. Like, a lot of people don't give that fight credit. Jesse Vargas got hurt, but he stayed in there. He didn't get stopped. And that was a pretty tough fight for Mikey, because early on, before Jesse Vargas got knocked down, you can really say he was winning the fight. And then I think the reality's kicking in to Team Garcia that Mikey is really not his best division at welterweight. So now, coincidentally, everybody's on board with the Pacquiao fight, which is dangerous, but it also represents a lot of money, so it's still a win-win situation. But meanwhile, you have very dangerous options like Sean Porter, Ugas, Terence Crawford, obviously an Errol Spence rematch who already beat him. And, it's stipulating that they wouldn't take those types of fights, or they're not as interested in those types of fights. So it starts getting to the business. Now, Mikey, I will give him credit. For whatever reason, he's sticking to his guns. He did do the interview with Ray Flores, and he said he would entertain a Sean Porter fight and things like that. But the only downside, like I said, is when the message from the team is not uniform. So I think before the public interviews and speaking, it would be better for teams to get on the same page, because it looks bad to me, and I'm sure other people, when Mikey is saying he would fight Sean Porter and this and that, and then you have Robert Garcia, and I appreciate his candid sincerity and his honesty, but he's saying he don't want his brother to fight no one but Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So when Crawford is saying he's the boogeyman, or he can't get the Mikey Garcia fight, and Mikey Garcia is saying he'll fight Crawford, he'll fight Sean Porter, he'll fight these guys, he wants a rematch with Errol Spence, but your whole team is saying kind of the opposite. The only person that your whole family is agreeing that you should fight is Manny Pacquiao, which again represents a lot of money, so it's really a win-win situation. And I don't prefer that mentality or way of thinking, because it's kind of like a cop-out. It's like, hey, even if I lose again, we already have a loss, and I'm going to get a lot of money. I feel like if you're going to be in a division, then it don't matter who up there. Like, I feel like O-Dog and Menace. Remember Menace to Society in the car scene? He said, I ain't doing it with no women or kids. He said, man, them marks just killed your cousin, goddammit, and you ain't gonna do shit. Man, I don't give a who out there. Like, them marks just killed your cousin, and you ain't gonna do shit. I don't care. You acting like a little right now. You acting like a little bitch right now, when O-Dog start going in. And I just don't like it, I don't think it's good. I think if you're going to be in a division, then you got to fight whoever is available. You can't really pick and choose. And I don't think, like, if anybody could pick and choose, it's the Floyd Mayweathers, the Manny Pacquiaos, the people who've been doing it since the 90s and, moved up several divisions, which Mikey has moved up like 4 divisions. So he does have that under his belt, but he doesn't have anywhere near the resumes of like a Cotto or a Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather, stuff like that, to the point where you should be able to kind of pick and choose, especially in that division. You haven't really made your name in that division. You lost to Errol Spence in a shutout landslide, and then you beat Jesse Vargas in a tough fight. So, you know, does that necessarily earn you the position to get a Pacquiao fight? And then bypass Porters and all the other tough guys who are deserving a Pacquiao fight. Errol Spence, you know, Ugas, Sean Porter, these guys are calling out Pacquiao as well. Crawford, you know. So I don't really like that statement from Team Garcia. Let me know what you guys think. Also, go to the link in the description to get ESPN Plus. It does help the channel when you guys click on that. ESPN Plus is a great standalone app. Tons of exclusives, behind the scenes, and different content for you. It looks like live streaming is coming back. Combat sports coming back slowly but surely. So stay tuned to the channel. Get ESPN Plus. Again, link in the description, helps the channel. And you can get it as a standalone or bundle it. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one price, $12.99. Let me know what you guys think of Team Garcia saying that Pacquiao is really the only fighter at welterweight that they want to fight. You know, I just think you can't pick and choose like that. I think if you're going to be at welterweight, then you need to be willing to fight all ranked top welterweight guys, especially if you're going to get a title, because then it basically says you're cherry picking. Pacquiao, and the other thing with Pacquiao is also the oldest out of all the people. So you don't want to fight people who are actually like Terence Crawford. You lost to him in the amateurs. You know, he's your age. Your family don't want you to fight him, and he's like your contemporary. He beat you in the amateurs. He's around your age group, etc. But you want to fight Pacquiao, who's 40, 41, or whatever age he is. You know, I don't really like what that represents, because that's kind of cherry picking. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.